So the Chicago Sky GM just gave an update on the Angel Reese trade. And for Angel Reese fans, this is not good. For Angel Reese fans that want Angel Reese out of Chicago, this is not good. We all know that Angel Reese does not want to be there. We all know that. Everyone knows that she does not want to be there. Well, she doesn't want to be there in the team's current capacity. If it turns out that the entire team gets fired, and not just... And I mean, by that, I don't just mean the front office. I mean, every single player not named Angel Reese and Camila Cardoso is fired. Unless that happens, Angel Reese does not want to be there. By the looks of things. Again, I don't know Angel Reese, but that's what it seems like. However, Jeff Pagliocca has talked about that. So he was in his press conference talking. He was talking about ownership. Basically, he's talking about the ownership. He was talking about the roster. And he was talking about Tyler Marsh. In the beginning of any good basketball, he was building strong relationships with players outside of humanity side of him. I think he's one of the brightest young coaches in the league. Marsh is going nowhere. Don't think Angel Reese wants Tyler Marsh there. But Sky GM Jeff Pagliocca on Angel Reese's future in Chicago. I have good conversations with Angel daily. I highly doubt that. Don't think that's happening. But until I hear differently, she's on our roster. And he's the GM. He makes the decisions. So by the sounds of things, he's not that worried for his job. If you're looking at Jeff Pagliocca, I think he made a whole bunch of really good trades and then made one really dumb trade. I think the only really dumb thing in hindsight was the Ariel Atkins trade, which was to try to appease Courtney Vandersloot and bring in some vets. And that was done before free agency. Like, my thought process on it is that I think that he brought in Ariel Atkins because he made a promise to Courtney Vandersloot to get vet, like top tier vets, and then couldn't get any of them in free agency. And then thought that it was going to be enough. And look, I think a lot of people thought it was going to be enough. A lot of people in preseason had Chicago Sky in the playoffs. So it's not like we can always talk about these decisions being bad, but like the Mystics were projected to be 11th. The Chicago Sky were projected to make the playoffs. And everyone thought with another year of improvement from Angel and Camilla, that in 2027, the pick swap was not going to convey with the Washington Mystics. But now the Mystics have one of the brightest futures in the league. They have the pick swap with Chicago, and the Sky look like they're in a shit show. And hindsight is 2020. But look, I still think that Angel Reese is being shopped to every team in the WNBA. But I think Jeff Pagliocca is essentially coming out saying that he wants to keep Angel so that he's not going to take a low ball offer. Like, there are people that actually think that somehow the Dallas Wings can get Angel Reese while keeping Maddie Siegrist, their top pick, Zaza James, JJ Quinterly, and their 2027 pick. Doesn't work like that. They're going to have to either package their top 2 pick, which I don't think is going to be enough for Angel Reese. I think you're going to have to package your top 2 pick with some form of a 2027 pick and one of Quinterly or James. And people actually think that you can, maybe even Geisel Suter. People actually think that people can get Angel Reese on the cheap. Angel Reese is going to cost more than any player that got traded for last year on those 1-year deals. Because she got 2 more years on her rookie deal, she's going to cost more than that. Because let's be real, the Sky aren't going to want to get rid of her. They're not going to want to get rid of her here. So if you're the Dallas Wings, you're probably giving up. You're probably you have to not mortgage your future, but bank on the Paige Bueckers and Angel Reese combo working, because you're not going to have much else. But the thing is that you have to be confident in your free agents, because if you go and make that trade, you've got essentially unlimited cap room. And a lot of people are like, oh, Arike, they're not going to trade for Arike. They're not going to trade for Arike. I think the only way they trade for Arike is if they core and trade Ariel Atkins for Arike. They're not giving up Angel Reese for a core to Arike Agumbawale, especially when Arike's team has finished last and second last the last 2 years. Like, you're just not doing that. Like, Arike, for Arike to have success, she needed to be on a team with 4 All-Stars. Like Arike, when she was on those good Dallas teams, it's not like those Dallas teams didn't have Natasha Howard. What they have? They had Natasha Howard, Satu Sabali, Arike. They had Veronica Burton, I guess. Did they have Ty Harris? Did they have Ty Harris? They might have had Ty Harris, but they were good teams. And before that, they had Marina Mabry. Like, they were good teams that were competitive. But, like, she can't be the number one option on a competitive team. But, yeah, it is one of those things when it comes to Angel Reese that the Sky are going to ask for a king's ransom. Like, their pick back from Minnesota is not going to be enough. They're going to need their pick back. They're going to need... trying to think, they're probably going to look for Kosu as well. They're probably going to look for their pick back in Kosu, which would be a big one. If she's going to the Valkyries, a lot of people are talking about the Valkyries. It will probably cost for the Valkyries together their first round pick. Ileana Rupert still has a year on a rookie deal. It would probably be their first round pick, Rupert, Carla Leight, the rights to Jusei Josite. That's probably what it would cost for Angel Reese if you're the Valkyries, and they're not going to do that. If you're the Connecticut Sun, you're probably giving up Sanaya Rivers and one of Anissa Morrow or Leah Edwards. I think Layla Lacan's untouchable. I think she's untouchable if you're Connecticut. But do I give up Sanaya Rivers, who is probably too similar to Layla Lacan? But then, if you give up Sanaya Rivers, you lose Marina Mabry. But at the same time, you shouldn't necessarily care if you lose Marina Mabry. So for me, that's probably the trade that I think Sky get the best value out of. Aaliyah Edwards and Sanaya Rivers. You get a like for like replacement in Aaliyah Edwards, who's not nearly as good as Angel, but does some similar things. You get a dog in Sanaya Rivers, and you might have to add a first or add a second round pick to that. But like people I saw a post about the Portland Fire being like, the Portland Fire are going to give up the 2027 number 7 pick and a 2026 number 7 pick and a 2027 second because that 2027 first round pick is too valuable. And it's like, oh no, it's too valuable for that franchise. Man, Angel Reese is by 100 miles the most important player for this Sky team right now on the court when she plays. So if one of the expansion teams wants to get Angel Reese, it's going to cost you. And by the way, second round picks are going to be useless in a year because they start at 16. Like the last couple of years, second round picks have started at 12 because the Aces haven't had picks. But they start at 16 now. So it's almost like a third round. If you get a second round pick and you're the 5th worst team, that would have been a third round pick 2 years ago. Like, it's not relevant in any way. So for me, I'm like, you're probably going to have to give up for your expansion team, which is Portland or Toronto. You're going to have to give up for Angel Reese your 2025 first round pick, your 2026 first round pick, and multiple seconds in the middle of that, in and around that. You're going to have to give 2 firsts and multiple seconds, or 2026, 2027. And none of them are going to do that because they're going to be garbage. And then they're going to be in the Juju Watkins, Hannah Hidalgo, Full Wiley, Madison Booker, Zhang Jiu sweepstakes. So yeah, that is a video. Is Angel going to be traded? Yeah. Is Angel going to be traded to a contender? Probably not. The only reason Angel will be traded to a contender is if they blow up their entire team. The only contender that I could see Angel getting traded to is the Seattle Storm. And that's only if NECA is retiring. Because while they can give up their 2 first round picks this year. They probably can't, like, they're not going to give up Malonga. And I actually think Angel and Malonga could play with each other long term. But they have 2 first round picks this year. One of them probably being a top 4 pick. So they can give up that top 4 pick. They can give up their other first round pick this year. And they can give up somebody like a Jordan Horston, who the Sky might be able to flip to Washington to get their 2027 pick back. Like, the Storm, if she wants to go to a contender, the Storm is probably the best one. But I don't know if the Storm are only going to trade for if NECA retires, because NECA, unless they want to play a center, but that means trading Ezzy Magbagor after coring her or trading Malonga. But knowing the Storm, they might go and trade Malonga. But anyway, yeah, that's the video. See you guys.